Hello there everyone, this is Trunks for you or NerdyGeeky depending on where you're watching this from, and I'm here to talk to you about my impression of the new film Godzilla. It's come out this year, came out a couple of weeks ago, and I went to watch it with my girlfriend, and this is my impression of it. Later on this video will contain spoilers, but for now I won't give anything away, or at least I hope I don't. So if you're watching this, hopefully you've watched it already, or maybe you're going to watch it. The first part of this video will contain no spoilers. Anyway, first of all, my initial thought was, wow, you got to see a lot less of Godzilla than I expected, which is a very common complaint. I didn't mind, actually. I thought they did it really well. There's a certain storyline that makes that actually quite obvious, that the actual monster fighting is actually almost the background of the story. It's almost like a military movie with a monster battle going on in the background rather than a war. What I did get from the movie, though, is that Aaron Taylor-Johnson is buff in this. He's definitely worked out. He's also apparently with the military advisor. He was given like a mini boot camp so he could sort of walk and talk like a soldier, and he does. I think that comes across really well. Of course, you've got Bryan Cranston in the movie. He's a brilliant actor as well, and he was fantastic in it. I didn't actually realise when I went into the movie that there was actually more than just Godzilla. I hope that's not a spoiler. It's really not. Obviously, you do get another monster in it, and that's what Godzilla's fighting. If you've seen any other Godzilla movies, you should really expect that there's another monster. He tends to come out and battle another monster, and that's what happens in this movie. But that almost seems to be in the background of what Aaron Taylor-Johnson is doing, which is certain things for the military. Now, compared to the 1998 version, which I was about 10 when I watched, and I was like, wow, Godzilla movie is awesome because I'm 10 years old. I made the mistake of going back and watching it a few years later and realised that it's actually quite terrible. So this movie is very, very much closer to the original feel of a Godzilla movie. Godzilla looks like he did back then. It's just not the man in the suit. He's actually CGI. And the fact that he looks like Godzilla and he acts like Godzilla, and there's more of a Godzilla storyline rather than just being a glorified giant Tyrannosaurus Rex attacking the city, it is much closer to the original, and that was nice. It was nice to see a good take on a classically Japanese film. So anyway, that's all I can really talk about. I thought it was really well made. It was really well done. It was a very interesting backstory. It spans about 15 years, though that's summed up very quickly at the start of the film until you kick into what's happening in 2014. I just thought it was really well made. I thought that, yes, okay, you didn't see Godzilla and the other monster as much as you wanted to, but it was kind of nice to be teased a little bit, and we weren't just, the audience wasn't just pandered to. You know, you wanted to see more. I want to see a second one because I want to see more Godzilla. I'm not just going, oh, that was really good, don't need to see another one, got enough of him now. So fair play to all the people that made that film. It makes me want to watch more so I can see more of Godzilla, because they've given us just a little bit less than we wanted, and I think that's a good thing. Okay, get ready now because this is spoiler time, so there will be spoilers now. Spoiler alert. So if you don't want any spoilers, stop watching now. If you've seen the film, feel free to carry on. If you don't mind hearing spoilers before going to watch the film, just in case you're still within two minds, feel free to continue. But there will be spoilers, and I will be talking about things that happen in the film that you would not know unless you watch the film. Right, so my first shock, really, is that Bryan Cranston dies really quickly. And I mean within the first sort of half an hour, 40 minutes. I really didn't expect that. I was hoping that he'd be in the whole film because I love Bryan Cranston. He's really, really good. But at the same time, it kind of worked. It kind of showed that he got his answers and he died, and now his next generation, which is Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he is going to go out and he is going to finish off the storyline. I liked that. It was almost like a little mini saga inside the film. And I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson brings that youth, especially because he's in the military. He brings a lot to the film that Bryan Cranston probably couldn't have done, do all that running around and that. Bryan Cranston was a fantastic scientist, but he wasn't that great with all running around and physical activities because he's older. So Aaron Taylor-Johnson brought that, and like I said, he's buff. The continuity mistakes in the actual film were quite shocking, really, because there was a few that were quite obvious to me. I've read about a few, but then a few that were quite obvious. Quite obvious was right at the start, between Bryan Cranston and his wife in the film. She talks about how his son, which grows up to be Aaron Taylor Johnson, he has made a birthday banner. And Bryan Cranston's like, oh no, yeah, I should have seen it. I'll come home and I'll see it later or something. And then about 30 seconds later, she mentions it's his birthday. And he's like, oh my God, it's my birthday, I forgot. So I didn't really know where that came from. I thought that was quite a really easy mistake that they could have easily just read the script and you realise, oh, you should know it's his birthday. You've just talked about a birthday banner. So we'll leave that. There was some more logistical things like the water level on Godzilla. Now, Godzilla is the biggest he's ever been in this film. And when he stands up in the sea, it comes up to about his ankle. But when he's swimming in the sea, he can swim underneath the boats without making them. They just rise a little bit and come off his back again. It doesn't really disturb them too much. He just sinks into the ocean, swims away. The fact is that there would be nowhere near enough water if it was just coming up to his ankle to actually cover him as he's completely submerged. I thought that was an easy thing to get around. I guess they've done it for ease. You can kind of forgive it if you don't really want to concentrate on it too much. It's annoying because it does take some of the sort of serious realism out of it. And they've tried to be quite realistic with the film as much as you can be about a giant monster attacking cities. At the end, we might as well skip right to the end because this one annoyed me a little bit as well. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he plays an explosives expert. He disarms explosives, and basically this nuclear blast, this nuclear bomb is going to go off and it's going to blow up in about 5 minutes. And it is 5 minutes on the clock. You see the clock, and a helicopter comes down and it picks him up and takes him away. You've seen the film, you know this happens, and he saves. The helicopter flies off and you see the nuclear bomb go off in the background. Of course, everyone wants to see a nuke. It's like the second time you see one though in the film. And this nuclear blast goes off in the background in the sea. He saves San Francisco and he saved himself, like with the helicopter. There's no way that even though the boat was on automatic GPS, so it was going out to sea, and the helicopter's going the opposite direction, there was no way in 5 minutes would it clear the 20-kilometer blast radius, let alone whatever radiation could be pumped out of this nuclear bomb. There's no way in 5 minutes could that clear. No way could they pick him up and right away in 5 minutes. I'd say they get a mile away from the boat at the most, maybe. That's just speculation, maybe a mile or two. Anyway, they would have been incinerated. He's an explosive expert. I don't see why he couldn't have disarmed the bomb just in time. Bit cliche, I know, but then you kind of have to stretch reality with the fact that in 5 minutes they managed to fly. Actually, to be honest with you, from the blast radius, they managed to fly about 100 miles in 5 minutes, which must break some sort of speed record. But again, if you can get over that, it's fine. It's just they had to tie up the movie, and I'm sure they were probably stuck on how to do it very dramatically. And of course, I'm not being funny, but being an American movie, they need the nuke to go off. They want to see that, and that's what they want to see. What I did like is that it wasn't just... Godzilla wasn't just a giant dinosaur. Okay, he's millions of years old. He is a god in it. He's not created by the nuclear blast on Bikini Island in 1954. They were trying to kill him in 1954 and it didn't work. He is a force of nature. He rectifies any problems on Earth, as in giant monsters come in attack. And there is, I know I said giant monster before, I didn't want to give it away. There's two. There's a male and a female. The female's massive, the male's a lot smaller. What a weird relationship that would be. But at the end of the day, Godzilla has to take down these two. He's the force of nature that rectifies these things that cause havoc all over the world, throwing things out of balance. So he comes in and he kills them and he restores balance. And the thing I really like is they did throw in his atomic breath, something that they didn't really bother doing in the 1998 version, which was a glorified Tyrannosaurus Rex. Basically, he uses atomic breath on mostly on the female. So I like that. I like that they brought that in. It stopped. They didn't try and be too realistic with it, like go stupidly realistic with it, especially like they did in the 98 version, try to explain things even though it wasn't that realistic. They used Godzilla's main power as atomic breath, and it was really cool when he used it. It looked ace. Like they even got his, even got the plates on his back to light up blue, like it did actually in another one, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So, I really liked that. It really made him Godzilla again. Another issue I've got with the film, I know I'm saying lots of issues even though I really liked it, another issue I've got with the film is the water level issue. The first time you see him right at the film, there's this massive tsunami, he gets out of the water and it's so massive, the water slides back and everyone thinks there's going to be a tsunami, and there kind of is a tsunami to be fair, he causes so much destruction with just water, and then later on he just gets out of the sea like he's just a fish or a crab just crawling out of the sea, like no rise in sea level. At the end he drags himself, well, he walks back into the ocean, and the ocean barely rises again, doesn't even knock a pier down, he actually it slides in quite gracefully, just drifts off in the water, just goes back to completely dead still, like he was never there. That was quite bad. I know they wanted to be dramatic about his first entrance, and they wanted to be quite realistic about it, but the fact that they couldn't keep that up in the rest of the film because it would be silly, like to destroy San Francisco before you even got out of the water. It kind of took a little bit out of it, like his first entrance was so grand, and then every time you see him after that, it's a bit like, oh, he's Godzilla, he's managed to get out of the water and sneak into San Francisco, even though he's like 100 foot tall or wherever he's supposed to be. Other than that, though, visually it was amazing, the monsters look amazing, they do really good and really good special effects, really great acting by Ken Watanabe, by Bryan Cranston, by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and by everybody else in the film. It was directed really, really well, and I know the director's just been handed the first spin-off of Star Wars because it was that good. And I think overall I would say this film is a great addition to what's usually a Japanese franchise. Let's forget the 1998 version, like even Japan tried to forget that. It's not even called Godzilla anymore, it's classed as Zilla. He's classed as just a monster, another kaiju. But I thought the film was great. You didn't see enough monsters, and I liked that because I want to go back and watch more. You know, it's like they only do 10 episodes of Game of Thrones, not 20, so I want to watch more Game of Thrones. With Godzilla, I want to watch another Godzilla film because I didn't get enough Godzilla, and it's made me want more. I've come away satisfied with a great movie, and it was a great movie. If you take it just as a movie and not as a Godzilla movie, it's brilliant. Obviously, there was high hopes because it was Godzilla. Other than that, though, like I said, acting was brilliant, visual special effects was brilliant, storyline was brilliant. I thought the story with the nuke, it dragged on a little bit, but it did take a few turns I didn't expect. They didn't get there straight away. They had to stop it. You saw babies from the Muto, or the Mutos they're called. And it was, in a sense, classically, sort of, it was a Godzilla movie. He was fighting other giant monsters in a city. You see enough of the fight to get the fight. It's not like Cloverfield, which is another story altogether. It's just a god-awful film. It was absolutely terrible. I hated Cloverfield so much because you didn't even get to see the monster properly. I had to search on Google just to see what he looked like, and even they weren't too sure. In this, you got to see Godzilla. You got to see the Mutos. You got to see a lot of destruction. You got to see a lot of fighting. But you saw a lot of the human element as well. The only film I could really relate it to is Battle Los Angeles, basically. But like I said, I think that worked. Like I said, I want to see more Godzilla, so I'm going to go see the next one if they make another one, and I really hope they do. I know he's moving on to do the spin-off of Star Wars, so if they do another one, it probably won't be him directing it, but then that gives it a fresh appeal. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say. My review is that it was a great film and you should go and see it. Even if you haven't seen it and I've just spoiled the entire film for you, still go and see it, especially in the cinema, because it's fantastic in the cinema. Giant monster movie in the cinema is just where you need to go and watch it. I love Godzilla. I love that Godzilla. It's really put the 98 version to more shame than it already had. But I think it's a great addition to Toho's line of Godzilla movies. Toho stamped their name all over it, so they must be happy with it. Yeah, Godzilla looked a little fat in it, but some of the older ones he looked quite fat as well. So I know the Japanese people weren't too sure about that because he looks quite fat, but let's just forget about how fat he looks. Let's just call it his bulk. And I liked Godzilla, and he was an anti-hero. He was there to bring balance to nature, but at the same time, he didn't care too much about the humans. But as you can see, as you see in the film, as you watch it, he's not just destroying humans for the sake of it. He goes after what he needs to kill, and that's it. But if people are caught in a crossfire, or if his tail destroys an entire building, he doesn't care. He does what he needs to do, and he goes back. And like I said, I really like that. I really like the storyline. I love storylines where it's force of nature sort of coming back at the human ignorance that we think we can control nature, where it really is the other way around. You know, if nature wants to do something, it's going to do it, whether we want it to or not. We can't control nature, but nature can control us. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, this is Trunks for you on NerdyGeeky, depending on where you're watching this from. Thank you very much for watching. All my social medias will be in the description below. Feel free to message me. Feel free to ask for something. Feel free to comment or anything. And I will be putting this up on my blog. If you're watching this on my blog, it will be on YouTube. And I have changed my blog address, and I have actually just changed my address so I can put up a Tumblr where I just reblog random nerdy pictures, anything like that. I'll probably be putting a few Godzilla ones up soon. I want to get more into the Tumblr because I've not been on the Tumblrs lately. So anyway, I'm sorry this was so long. It was a brilliant film. I had a lot to talk about, and I hope I didn't rush it too much. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Like I said, I hope it wasn't too long. If you haven't seen Godzilla, please go and watch it. It's a great film. If you've seen Godzilla, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, then I'm very sorry for that. But let's hope that the next one, because surely there will be, because I think this one was quite a hit. Hopefully the next one will be better, as all sequels aspire to be. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.